Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel, or of course welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you stick around and subscribe. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, then why not make sure the notification bell is switched on just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. Now for today's video, we have another dupe on our hands because W7 are not messing around. I said this in a previous video, but they are just doing release after release after release. And they actually come out with 2 more palette dupes, and I'm going to be doing one in today's video and then I'll do the other one very soon. So by now we all have heard of the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. This came out late last year, and this is just a stunning neutral brownie sort of palette with deeper shades. It's also got a couple of gel liner shades in there as well, but this is what it looks like. I absolutely love this palette. I've used it so many times, and it is very expensive. I believe this is 56 or 58 pounds. Like, this is not cheap. So unbelievably expensive. So W7 thought, hang on a minute, we've duped all the other Huda Beauty palettes, so what's another one gonna do? So they have released the Influence palette, which looks like this. This is the packaging here. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I first looked at this palette, I honestly was like struggling to think of what palette it was duping, but then I saw the shade Supremacy and I was like, that's a Huda dupe. So this is what the W7 palette looks like. This is the shade I'm referring to, the weird sort of gel shimmer shade. They definitely have that in the Empowered palette. Let me just show you these up close. Okay, so these are both of the palettes. Obviously the top one is Huda and the bottom one is W7. Don't know if you want to pause and just have a closer look, but I don't know if you can tell just by that little glimpse, but the shades are not in exactly the same order. Like, there's just a few odd ones that are in different places, which, you know, I don't know what they were trying to do with that. Obviously, you can tell it is a Huda Beauty dupe. But ultimately, what's most important here is that this W7 palette is less than a tenner. It's £9.95. Like, it is a fraction of the price of the Huda Beauty. So for my queens out there that can't afford the high-end like Huda Beauty makeup, if this is a good dupe, I'm gonna tell you to buy it because I love doing these videos, and if I can find an alternative that does the exact same thing on your eyes, I'm gonna tell you about it. So let's get into it. Now I wanna do some swatching. Obviously putting them on my eyes is the most exciting part, but I do like to see how similar the colors look when they are swatched side by side. Now obviously because the W7 one isn't in exact same order as Huda Beauty, I'm just going to take the shade I think looks the most like a shade in the Huda Beauty palette and just swatch them side by side. Okay, so these are the swatches of both palettes. Forgive me, they kind of curve up a little bit, but I hope you can see all of them. Can you guess which row is what brand? I will reveal it very shortly, but before I do, I must say this palette is like 95% accurate. The only difference I couldn't really match was these two shades here, which in the Huda palette is the shade Get It. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Huda Get It that I couldn't match, so I just used the other odd like W7 shade that didn't match to anything else. Yeah, I'd say it's like 95% similar. I mean, look at these shimmers. Even like the W7 ones, when I tell you what ones they are, like they're so foily and pigmented like the Huda ones. Like, it's a really close call, but I must reveal that the top row is indeed Huda Beauty and the bottom row is W7. So now that you know what brand is what row, what do you think? Do you think W7 have done it again with a good dupe? I would love to know, but let's now get on into the eye looks. Okay, so I've primed one of my eyes because I'm going to do what I did in my previous W7 dupes video. I'm going to do a look with the high-end palette, and then I'll do the exact same tutorial with the W7 palette sped up, just so it's a lot quicker video, and then I can sit down and compare the both and let you know if I think it's a dupe or not. Firstly, I've obviously primed one of my eyes, and I use this is the Prime View W7 eyeshadow primer. I'm going to use this primer on both eyes, just so you know I'm not mixing with different formulas and stuff. I'm going to do like a typical Alex like night out makeup look, because this is what I use this for. It's an absolutely stunning palette and I use it all the time. Firstly, I'm going to use the shade Keep Going, and I'm going to put that in my crease. Next, I'm going to use the shade Rebel to blend that out. Now I'm going to deepen it up with the shade Legacy. Then I'm going to take this shade here, which is called Power, on a fluffy brush. I'm just going to blend that at the very top edges just to make sure this is all blended. I really hope I remember the order that I do this, but hey ho. Next, I'm going to take a tiny bit of the shade Confident, which is this dark brown here, and I'm just going to pop that in your outer corner. And then I'm just going back in with my original brush just to blend that a little bit. Okay, time for the shimmer. I would typically go for the shade Charisma, because honestly it's the most stunning gold shadow ever. Like, it's literally like liquid gold. It is phenomenal. But I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use the shade Bold Moves, because I really like the look of it. It's almost like a mix between silver and gold. I really like it. I'm going to take it on my finger. I'm going to pop this in the middle. Like, that is a stunning shimmer. Why have I not used that on my lid before? And then I'm going to use the shade Do It to blend out the edges. I'm taking this on a brush just so I have a bit more control. I'm just going to go back in with Legacy, and I'm going to pop that all across the lower lash line. Then for the inner corner and brow bone, I'm going to use the shade Limitless. That shade is so hard to use because it is so crumbly, but just look at the foil reflection. I love it. So this is my completed look with the Huda Beauty Empowered palette, and now I'm going to close that and we are going to move on to replicating this look but using the W7 Influence palette. So as I said, I'm going to speed this up just so you know I'm not being boring and repeating myself, but I am using the same shades from W7 that match the Huda. So let's get into it. Okay, and then this is the W7 side. So let's just sit and look at both of these. So to be honest, at like a first glance, I don't think they look too dissimilar at all. Like, honestly, I think I could walk out the house with both of these eyes and no one's going to be like, that bitch has two different eyeshadow palettes on her eyes. Like, I think they look very, very similar. I just think if I was to be really picky, I think the only difference, it's not even that much of a difference if I'm honest, but I think I can just tell like ever so slightly that the Huda foils are just a little bit better quality than the W7, but that is not to say these W7 shimmers are not absolutely unreal, because they are. I mean, look how shimmery. Even this inner corner shade like looks so pigmented. So I think I am being a bit too picky with that. It's just this lid shade here. I can see just a little bit more reflection on the Huda side than W7, but ultimately, guys, I think they look very similar. I think we have got another successful dupe on our hands. I'm gonna go finish off the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back with my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back. I've completed all of my makeup. For my mascara or mascaras, I used a little bit of a combination. I used my W7, what is this called? More Lashes, the Benefit Roller Lash dupe, and then I used the new I Heart Revolution Soft Flutter Lash. I just used a combination of the both to give me, you know, separated more thicker lashes. And then for my lips, I have a combo. So I've used my absolute favourite lip liner in the shade Bite Me by Morphe. I used my Revolution and Simpsons liquid lipstick in the Homer lip kit, and then I decided to add a gloss on. I don't know who I am, but I am loving putting gloss on at the moment. Not out in public, obviously, because I don't want, you know, that situation, but for filming I have been using glosses a lot recently. And I used the I Heart Revolution Chocolate Swell lip gloss in the shade Chocolate Pudding. That's what the packaging looks like. So this is my completed makeup, obviously with both the eyes on. Let me know what you think with the rest of my makeup on. Huda W7. Would you be able to tell that I had two different eyeshadow palettes on? Because I don't think you would. They look so incredibly similar. It is unreal. Like, wow. Really can't tell much of a difference at all, if I'm honest. So as I said, big tick, because we have found another successful dupe, which I always love to like see. So glad we were able to find a dupe for the Huda Beauty Empowered palette, because let's be real, not everyone can afford a high-end palette. It's so incredibly expensive. There's way better things you can spend your money on. So instead of buying that, and if you do trust my opinion, you can now buy this, because I 100% think this is a very good dupe of that palette. I am so impressed with W7 for being able to pull off an incredibly identical dupe for that, because that just makes my soul happy. There is also a mirror in here, I forgot to mention. So this is under £10. If you haven't got the Huda Beauty Empowered palette and you're thinking of getting it, get the W7 one first, okay? It is a fraction of the price, and you can create, obviously, identical looks to what you could create with the Huda one. So I strongly recommend if you're looking for a Huda Beauty Empowered dupe, and I also recommend just because it is a very good eyeshadow palette for under £10. Like, the shades are so pigmented, they blend really well with each other, the shimmers are incredible as well. They almost perform identical to the Huda ones, which is really fascinating, like how they've been able to do that. And I just think W7 have pulled it off so well. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette for under £10. Okay, so that was me testing out the new W7 Influence palette versus the Huda Beauty Empowered. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. Let me know down below what you think of this W7 palette. Is it a dupe? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.